What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Dina, and we are discussing episode 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Listen, from the top of the episode, I forgot about the gratuitous nudity that comes with Game of Thrones shows. Like, you think that after the first episode, I was prepared for some in my face stuff, but I was not quite prepared for how in my face it got in the top of this second episode. Like,
hey, but Game of Thrones has always been good about equal opportunity
that is
naked.
true.
I will say that about them. They don't care.
That is true. But I mean, my goodness, give us some warning next time. Like,
Your warning was his booty peeking out the door before he turned around.
okay, but here's the thing. Seeing his ass was not a bit. I was like, okay, so I'm literally sitting here thinking, like, okay, so they're gonna show us a little male frontal nudity. Okay, whatever. When he turned around, I was like, wait, I was not ready. I think that's the best way to say. I was not ready. I wasn't. It was just I started singing in my head, like, does your thing hang low? Does it wallow too?
Oh, God.
But yes, we're gonna behave like little 12-year-olds, right?
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
I was not expecting that. And then you kind of, it's like you see this while Dunk is having his, I guess at this point, Dunk is talking to the different lords of the different houses, trying to get someone to remember him so they will vouch for him in the list. That had to have been like right before he passed, because you see him looking at the injury that he has on his arm, which I was like, he probably died from the injury and not just from whatever cough he developed from the rain. He probably had some kind of blood poisoning or something, because that wound was just open. And I was like, why are they not fixing that? Why are they not treating that? Or I don't know. Something about that whole wound was just, it was ick. But
Yeah,
I
he
just
probably
thought it was
couldn't afford the treatment for it.
that's true.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of sad, because when you're hearing all of the stuff that Dunk is saying about Ser Arlan, especially at the top of this episode, it's kind of like, this man was honorable, he was selfless, he was all the things that Dunk said about him. He look, I actually took notes this time. He said he's a true knight, but he was different from other men. He had a peaceful nature. He was quiet. He was humble. He was a veteran of 100 wars, enemy to none, always knew what was expected of him. He never complained. He was always a benefit of people around him. And I was like, you would think somebody who is of that caliber would be remembered more. And then I thought about what you said. I think you said this in the last episode, Anthony, and then it's kind of sort of related to what Dunk says towards the end of this episode. He was like, he was this knight that nobody remembers. And it's like, this is a man who taught me to be honorable, but all of these so-called noble people didn't even bother to remember who he was. And I think that's so sad.
I mean, at the end of the day, he was a hedge knight. I
I know.
mean, they're not going to commit him to memory. I'm sorry. I started the episode.
I know. No, I'll listen in the background. But I mean, and I get that, but I guess at the same time, it's kind of like, even the one who was it? Who did he fight?
Dondarrion?
No, from House
Well,
Tyrell.
because
When
Dondarrion was like, we hired 800 hedge knights for that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
how
gonna
you
But
really
no,
remember
expect
even
him
him.
to
House
remember him?
Tyrell, when he went to go talk to him, he said, you were the one who told him that the hedge knights were the bridge between the lords and the small folk.
Oh, yeah.
Something that specific, unless it's something you're saying to everybody you're coming across, that should at least trigger a memory. And I feel like what Egg said to him later, he said it's almost like they're not really listening to you. It's like they
They're
look
not.
at Dunk, they basically, they're making a judgment based on his appearance. They're making a judgment based on the way he speaks. And they're just like, okay, I'm not even going to bother with him.
And that's probably how they treated Ser Arlan. That's probably how they treat hedge knights. They don't. They're not lords. It's not. They're not sworn to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point of trying to remember who they are? You don't get anything out of it other than a sword if you hire them.
Yeah.
So
He did
committing
say
them to memory,
that there
like
were like higher level people who they didn't even remember that
right,
were fighting in that same thing, so they don't care.
Yeah. I
right.
think
Like
it's sad.
if you were a Targaryen, but you're like 15th in line, everyone would know who you are because you're a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a Tyrell and you're 15th in line, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just, I also wonder if that's the reason why Arlan treated Dunk the way he did, because Dunk continuously says that Arlan treated him like a member of his family, that he was good to him, that he taught him to be an honorable man. But of course, all of the recollections we see of him, it looks a little more harsh. And
Yeah.
I wonder if, and I think Dunk also says towards the end, he was like, he was a hard man to get to know. I wonder if maybe he treated Dunk like that just because he wanted Dunk to understand what to expect as far as how other people were going to treat him. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
probably.
Unfortunately, in this world, if you treat somebody with kindness, if you treat them with respect, obviously it doesn't really get you anywhere. Because, like he said, Ser Arlan was almost 60 years old. He had been a head knight for so long, served all of these different houses, was noble, was honorable, and nobody remembers him, you know, except for the one person who did, and we'll talk about the Targaryens later. But
The thing I think about sometimes is, especially with this story, is like in the book, I think Duncan was maybe 6 or 7 when Sir Arlan found him.
mm-hmm.
That meant that Sir Arlan was almost 50 and had never had a squire before. And he probably saw opportunity to start and also have someone to help take care of him because
No,
he
he
was
had a
getting,
squire. His nephew was his squire.
well, yeah, but
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
he got
killed.
killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got killed. Um, but he's probably really looking for someone to help because he knew he was getting old. He was gonna need help.
Yeah.
So he couldn't what better than to start with this kid who was probably already big for his age.
Yeah, I was
He
just gonna
probably
say,
didn't yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
probably didn't really know how old he was.
he was 14 years old because he was 8 feet tall already. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're in the book, he's 6'11" now, and he's supposed to be 16, 17,
16, I think he is in the book.
That's
and 6'11".
crazy.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. And just for him being tall, it seems like people just pick on him. He automatically just pick on him and say things to him like he won't kill them. Like this big old man, he look real big, strapping and strong, and y'all just talking smack to him like he won't step on your face.
Right. That's the thing I was thinking of too. Like, y'all keep talking so disrespectful to this guy.
Yes.
Like, and I don't know if it's just that they're looking at the way he looks in the face, because if you look at him in the face, if you look at kind of, I will even go so far as to say the way that he stands, the way he postures himself, he doesn't look threatening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's the vibe that they're getting off of. He doesn't give off a threatening vibe.
And
Whereas
I think
some of
that's
these,
what Lionel Bradley was kind of alluding to. Like, you need to carry yourself
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Hold
that.
yourself
be
up.
tall. But not
Yeah,
only
but
that, use your presence,
mhm.
and I think even Egg in this episode, he's talking to him. He was like, "Why do you let these lords treat you like they're
Right.
your betters?"
Right.
And he was like, "They are my betters." And Duncan's like, I mean,
He's
Egg
like,
is like,
nah.
"No,
Mhm.
you're
It's
a
like
knight. You need to start acting like a knight."
Yeah.
the mountain was nearly 8 feet tall in the book.
Yeah.
No one looked at him or treated him like he was stupid.
Right. Right.
Yeah. The
Nope.
hound was like 6'7", 6'8". No one treated him like that.
Yeah.
Also, his face was messed up, but
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the face kind of, helped with the hound, but
Yeah. But they carried themselves like
right.
they were dangerous.
yeah,
Brienne of Tarth, she carried herself like she was dangerous.
She's a
Yeah.
knight, baby.
yeah,
No one really, I mean, they had their reservations about her, but they never said anything really to her face other than, well, damn, you're big. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a huge bitch.
That that is true.
Uh,
But two things I wanted to know about this episode before we get into like the meat and potatoes of it. Um I'm noticing, and I noticed this with House of the Dragon, like the first episode we didn't get an intro, but we got it in the second episode. This one we still don't have an intro.
no.
And I'm like, okay, I know they're doing things a little different, but this is it's weird to me that we don't have an intro, we don't have a like the theme song. It's just, I guess it's another way that it's kind of saying it's Game of Thrones, but it's not Game of Thrones, but it's just weird to me. Also, I did not realize these episodes were so short.
Yeah, they're very short by comparison.
Like the first episode, I think was like 40 something minutes. And I was like, okay, that's probably average if you think about the fact that usually when we watch TV, they have like commercials or whatever. This one was only 34 minutes. And I know when it got to the end and the credits started rolling, I was like, wait, what?
Already?
I
Yeah.
was like, does this seem short to anybody else? And then I looked at it and it said 34 minutes. I said, wait, so you're giving us 6 episodes that are right around the half hour, quarter hour mark. I was like, y'all could have just made this a movie.
I mean, I was thinking about that too. Like they probably will do like the season finale like longer, like how they would stretch out Game of Thrones for the longer stuff, the longer battles. They might do that, but it is so short because
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm just getting into the flow and it's pretty much over.
Right.
I kind of like it because it has like a sitcom feel to it.
I mean, yeah, I love
That's
that
So
part
so
about it.
I don't mind it as much, and especially knowing the story. The
Mhm.
story moves pretty quickly
Yeah.
when you're reading it. So I like this sort of different approach than like with the House of Dragon, where they stretched
oh my
out.
god, just
They
Mhm.
killed
stretched the
somebody
story
already.
as
Yeah.
much as they could. Well, here they're like, we're just gonna give you the story. We're not gonna do any stretching. Like they left out the whole. I don't know if they're gonna do it in the next episode, but they left out the whole explanation of how the games work. Like they
They
didn't.
did.
I don't. Yeah, they didn't even explain anything about the champions and how the challenges work. They just cut all that out.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
because the
know,
only thing they talked about is if you lose your arms, your
yeah.
armor, and
Yeah.
all this stuff for the
And
ransom. But
you can get it back by paying a ransom. And
Hmm.
yeah,
like, even when I think in the book, when they ask him, well, we can let you win, but if you lose all your stuff, do you have the money to get it back?
they asked him that in there too. Well, or he
They
says that
did.
he doesn't have it or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think they
Somebody
asked him
asked him
that in the
that though.
first episode. I
The
think the
first
master of
episode.
the
Yeah.
master of games said something to him about that.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not a straightforward explanation, and maybe just for time's sake, they're kind of like, okay, if you're familiar with the Game of Thrones universe, because again, I'm not sure that there would be a lot of people who would be watching this if they're not familiar with Game of
already.
Thrones, but
Yeah.
you kind of know what the tourneys are like, and this is just kind of like that on a smaller scale with, I think, more participants, because I don't remember any of the other tourneys starting out with like 10 people
A melee,
jousting at the
yeah.
same
That was
time.
where
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
And it was like I was trying to follow it because you have all of these people, but of course they also did not introduce us to who each person was. It's kind of like throughout the 2 episodes, they're like, oh, this person is in the list and this person is in the list, but there's also rounds. Everybody's not in the same round. So yeah, I think they could have done with a little bit more explanation, but maybe they'll do that in the third episode, because I know a lot of the, I should say, big stuff is probably going to happen in the 3rd episode and the 4th episode. So they'll probably explain that once you start kind of maybe localizing the list, as far as like, okay, well, this person is about to go against this person, and you start to see a little bit of the conflicts come in, the personal conflicts. So maybe they'll do that a little bit more in the 3rd episode.
Yeah. All I gotta say is, if anybody is starting off with this show and they have not watched Game of Thrones or even House of the Dragons, don't go back and try to watch it now, because this show is gonna lead you astray. I just want you to know that.
Yeah,
the vibe is totally different.
Totally different. Yeah. But I have noticed on social media, like I've been on Threads a little bit more lately. There are a lot of people who are starting the Game of Thrones journey for the first time right now.
Man.
Yeah. So
I miss those days.
So they're excited. You know, one person just finally got to the red wedding and she was like, "What the fuck did I watch?" I'm like, "Oh, welcome to all of our trauma. We have cookies and milk." You know?
Oh yeah, trauma bonding,
Right.
and crying and screaming.
Oh my God. Yes. But okay, let's get into some of the other things, because we get introduced to quite a few Targaryens in this episode. And I literally, like I said, I did go and make some notes, because all of the names, first of all, I need the Targaryens to get a little more creative with the names, because
I know.
Good grief. Trying to keep track of who is who. This is this person,
Daron,
this person,
Daron,
this person.
Daron,
Which
Baelor,
Aegon is this? Which
Aegon.
Oh my God. So just to go over the kind of family tree of the people that we've either seen so far or heard about so far in this particular episode. So right now, this is the rule of Daron II, who is Daron the Good. He is the son of Aegon II, grandson of Viserys II, who is Daemon and Rhaenyra's son. And I don't think we're giving any House of the Dragon spoilers away, because we knew that Daemon and Rhaenyra had a son named Viserys. So
that actually does kind of spoil who wins between the greens and the blacks.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't.
Necessarily.
No, because
doesn't.
the way they go back and forth with the conflicts and stuff. No, I don't think it does. At some point, because you may think one thing about the green and blacks, and then the next generation may have done something to switch the who was on the throne, or the generation after that. Again, Daron II, Daron the Good, he is Rhaenyra and Daemon's grandson. So something could have happened.
Something changed.
That
something
generation
happened.
Or the next generation, right, or even in his generation. But we all know a Targaryen is going to be on the throne regardless, at least for until Robert gets on the throne. So how the Targaryens get there, I don't think we're spoiling anything by saying any of that. I'm just saying. And if you and let's be honest, if you're watching this show, you already know Targaryen history. You already know how that conflict ended and what happened after that. So I don't think we're being spoilery.
But I don't think that's even spoilery, because that alludes to a linear path. And I don't think the path is going to be that linear. I don't believe the path is that linear. So I don't think that really is spoilery.
But also, these are Targaryens. They intermarry. So it's kind of
oh my God. Cousin, brother, uncle, cousin, sister.
Right.
Somebody brought that up in this episode too.
So I'm just saying. But so the two older gentlemen that we meet when Sir Duncan goes to like plead his case, that's Baelor Targaryen and Maekar I, who are both sons of Daron the Good. And their brothers. Baelor is the oldest, Maekar is the younger. Baelor is the nice one. He is the one who like is nice to Dunk. He's the one who remembers Ser Arlan. He's the one who gives Dunk his kind of his blessing to say, yeah, you can enter the list. I'm cool with it. Maekar is the one that's a little bit more of an asshole. They kind of remind me of Viserys and Daemon as far as you have one that's very level-headed, and then the next one is the more intemperate one. And maybe it's just because, okay, first in the line is, he already knows where his position is. He's cool. And the one that's second in line, they're like, I should be the one that's the heir.
Always,
They give off that
always
vibe.
the spare, acting the fool.
Right.
I think it's more about the spare acting the fool, to
Yeah,
be honest with
yeah,
you.
yeah. And then also we meet Valar. Well, we kind of sort of meet Valar Targaryen. We see him in the list. I don't think we actually interact with him, or anybody actually interacts with him. We see him in the list, and Egg is the one who tells Dunk, oh, that's who that is. He's the son of Baelor.
Is
What?
anybody else wondering? This is how I know the Dunk is seriously blind and very naive. Because why does this kid know everybody in Westeros? He's
We'll
looking
get to
at
that
people
because
by face and he's going, "That's so and so."
we'll get to that because there's some other things we got to talk about in with that. Um, the other Targaryens, we meet Arion, who
Yeah,
is who is
I can already
also
tell.
like he is giving off he's giving off
Uh,
Viserys vibes. He's giving off
Sarah,
egg.
what's Aemon? That Aemon.
Raymond. Hmm.
I don't even.
No, I thought the
Yeah,
same thing, Dina.
yeah,
I was like, oh,
yeah,
he already. His
yeah.
nose was turned up all right. I was like, oh no.
Right,
Oh,
right. So we meet him. We meet and we hear about Daron and Aegon. Those are the two sons who were supposed to be there, who are quote unquote missing. They've not shown up, and no one knows where they are. So
Make horse sounds.
yes, Makar sons.
Mm.
So Arion, Daron, and Aegon are all his children. And I think those are the only ones that have been mentioned in this particular episode, or in the two episodes. So because I know he has other children, but we haven't heard anything about them yet. So it's just those. So I'm gonna put a marker in the show notes. This is where we're gonna get into a little bit of spoilery territory. So if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you don't know what's going on with this show or with these characters, you may want to kind of hold off. And then once we get done talking about this, I'll bookmark that as well, so you can kind of skip this part. But going back to what you just said, Dina, they have given us lots of clues in the first two episodes, I think, as far as Egg's true identity. And what you just said, as far as him, all of the stuff that he knows and all of the stuff that he's telling Dunk.
he just knows too much. Like he literally is giving me Arya Stark with Tyrone Lannister, and like he realized she was not a low-born child
Right.
because she was slipping up and she was too smart, and she
And
was saying
even more
things,
simple, the fact that she was saying my lord instead
"My
of my
lord" versus
lord.
"me lord," right? And he up here, "My lord, my lord." He proper. He got girl when he said, what did he say? He mentioned something, and I said, "Now how would a little flea bottom, tiny little, how would he know that?" They
Right.
don't know what these upper people look like. They never
Yeah.
saw these people. Like most of those people
Yeah.
never saw a king and queen or any of these people to
Yeah.
know what they look like. They
Yeah.
might know their name and they might, have to know their history to a certain degree, but they don't really be knowing what these people look like.
Right.
In the book, they make it even more obvious because of the scene where he's walking around with Duncan and he's naming all of the different houses. He
Mm-hmm.
Right.
knows all of the
That,
sigils.
that
Yeah.
He
part.
knows all of the lords of all the houses
Yeah.
and their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, really, dude?
And
And
not
that's it.
only that, in the
Yeah.
books, they make it a point to mention his eye color, because in the
Mm,
books, the Targaryens have purple eyes.
yeah.
And so they make it a point to say that Aegon has like purplish blue eyes. But again, I think what they're doing as far as the show goes, because in the books, Dunk automatically assumes that Egg is from Flea Bottom. He doesn't
Right.
actually say, "Are you from Flea Bottom?" So Egg never has to say, "No, I'm not." In the
Right.
show, they actually made him specifically say, "Are you from Flea Bottom?" He was like, "No." And then when he said, I'll take you back home," he said, "Well, you have to go all the way back to King's Landing." So it's like you're telling us he's from King's Landing, not necessarily saying he's a Targaryen, but you're already telling us he is a child of noble birth.
Of noble birth.
You know,
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
other thing about that is if you notice the way he reacts when he sees certain people in the
Yeah.
episodes,
Yeah.
like when he sees certain Targaryens, like when he saw the when the Targaryens first came in over the bridge and he saw the flags, he was like, "Oh, maybe I should go ahead and
Yeah.
take the horses back to the camp." He was like, "I don't want to be around here for
Yeah.
all of that." But it has to be the head thing because, again, he looks so different from what a Targaryen, quote unquote, should look like, that even the noble people who should know who he is, if he is
Right.
one of their princes, they're not paying attention to him because
No. No.
they're looking at his head shaved and they're probably thinking, "Oh, he's a sickly kid. Oh,
Right.
he's somebody not of ill importance. Plus, he's dressed kind of like a peasant." You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That.
So
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But then here's the other thing. I don't think anybody would have gotten it in the first episode, but once you get in the second episode and you start having a conversation with Baelor and Maekar and they're talking about the two missing sons, I
Missing
was like,
son.
okay. And then you mention the sons by name, Daron and Aegon. Okay, Aegon, Egg. It's easy to make that connection. But also, if you think about it, when Dunk was in the inn, there was a drunk
Right.
Targaryen
Right.
at the table,
Right.
totally in his cups, totally upset or depressed about something.
Yep.
And then you hear the two brothers talking about how Maekar was forcing Daron to enter in the list, and he was like, "Daron should not be in the list at all.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have forced him." He said, "Also, what you're trying to say, like my son is better at drinking whores than he?" He was like, "I didn't say that, but the
Yeah.
implication is, yeah, that's what he is." But you have that prince who was there in the end, drunk, upset, whatever, whatever. And then in the same inn is where
Yep.
Dunk comes across Egg.
Right.
It's too much of a coincidence for us not to put it together. And then again, you talk about Egg. He knows all the sigils. He knows who these people are. The way that he talks. What other kid would be sitting in the field, play fighting, Thomas, and yield your black fire
Black
bastards?
fire bastards.
It was
Who
like,
would just
who else would say that? But the thing is, Dunk is ignorant of all of that stuff because he didn't grow up in Flea Bottom. He didn't grow up in King's Landing because Ser Arlan grabbed him, took him all over the country with him.
right.
So I don't think he would know to pick up on these types of things because he probably has never been around a noble child to that extent to be like, "Oh, he know what he's talking about because he's
Right.
part of this."
Yeah.
Especially if he was, like Anthony said, as young as 6 or 7 when he started, squiring or started being Ser Arlan's companion. He
Yeah.
wouldn't know. But
Yeah.
us, it's almost like you got a big neon
Right.
light saying, "Hey, we got Aegon
But
Targaryen over
it's clever
here."
how they did it though, because remember we were talking about last time. I was like, it's interesting how because he automatically assumed that the little boy in the stables was her son because she said my son did this, and there was a little boy. So for him, he just mashed it on up. Well, it's a little poor little little scallywag boy, and then she's a poor in lady,
Yeah.
and so he never once considered that the son that wasn't the son. Because my thing is, this kid ran away from his mom, and you don't think nothing of it.
Right. But
I
no,
think
because
I
in the
think he
first
wants.
episode, he did say, Egg did tell him that's not my mother's dead. And he was
Oh
like,
yeah, that's what he did
the
say that.
innkeeper, like he was like, "That's not your mother." They did have that
That's right. I
conversation.
forgot
So
they had
yeah.
that conversation.
So yeah.
Oh,
I think maybe Duncan is trying to model himself after Sir Arlen. So
Yeah.
in his mind, this is like him doing for Egg what Arlen did for him.
Yeah.
So and that's all he sees. He's not seeing anything beyond that.
Yeah.
Please do not show us his front next episode at HBO. Please don't. He's a big man. He's a really big man. I couldn't handle it.
But yeah, okay, so we're gonna
I'm not gonna touch that, Dina, at all. I'm just not.
okay, so we're gonna close out the spoilery part right here. But okay, so I want to talk about some of the other people that we come into contact with because we've already talked about the different Targaryens. I like Baelor. I feel like he is, he's of the Targaryen blood, but again, he kind of takes after Viserys in my mind. But also, if you think about who Daron the Good is, I mean, they call him Daron the Good, so he has to be one of the more temperamental, stably temperamental Targaryens. And then, Maekor seems like he's an asshole. Even just the way he's talking to Dunk, like, or the way he's talking to the who was it, Ser Ashland, or I think Lord Ashland,
Lord Ashford.
Oh yeah,
yes,
Ashford. Yeah.
Ashford, the one who's actually putting on these games. He really does have an air of, you guys are beneath me. I'm not about to be bothered with you. And even with Duncan speaking to his brother, he's being very respectful. He's being very complimentary. And of course, Makor is probably like, I hear this shit all the time. I'm so sick of it. Just get out. He already gave you what you want. Get out. Get out. But it's like him, Ariane. I already know I'm not about to like these two. Yeah, they're about to be on that Viserys Daenerys brothers level. Like, can you please put a pot of gold on their head? Well, I don't know. They might not be that bad, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
I do
feeling.
like
I'm not feeling
I
them.
do like Baylor's costume design. He had the dragon thing right here that we were so used to seeing with Rhaenyra and
Mm-hmm.
Daenerys. It was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Prince of Dragonstone. So
yeah.
I like him though so far. He
Me too.
seems like a stand-up guy.
Me too.
yeah.
I mean, we gotta have a couple of Targaryens that we like, and then a
I
couple
also
of
like that
that
he's
we
a
hate.
dark-haired target.
I
Hmm.
noticed that. I noticed that. I was like, that's interesting. But I don't. Again, I'm only looking at the show right now. I haven't gone back and dug into like the history of everything. Like, I know where his lineage is, but I'm not going to talk about it here because of the fact that, like Anthony said, we don't know. Um, we're going to assume that the people who are watching the show and the show only don't know what the outcome is of,
The
House of the
Dance with
Dragon
Dragons.
team. Yeah, team of the Dance of Dragons team Black versus Team Green. We just know he's a Targaryen, so it kind of, again, doesn't really matter in this particular moment what side of the Targaryen line he came from, because they're all related anyway for the most part. But
I'll go Targaryen.
the other people that we meet, you have Ser Roland Crakehall
Mm.
and Sir Donald of, was the Duskendale,
Duskendale.
who are King's guards to the Targaryens. Those are two interesting people because Sir Roland, he seems like he's an asshole, but he's not Maekar or Aerion Targaryen type of asshole.
Yeah.
He
No,
does seem
he's
to
just
have,
there. He's just there doing his job.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
He
he has
doesn't.
a little bit of a snobby nose, but not enough to the point where I was like, I don't like you because of the weight. Because
Yeah.
he even, when he talks to Dunk and Dunk sees them, he was like, sirs, he was like, well met. You know, that's
Yeah.
what you say that to people that you are not necessarily just respectful of, but it's just a polite way to say to another knight, or someone like, hey, how you doing? He could have
Right.
easily been like, who the hell are you, like all these other people,
Stable boy.
are you Baelor Targaryen? Well, get the fuck out. He could have treated him like that. He didn't.
Yeah.
But we do know he does have a little bit of that chip because when he says, what did he say? Do you ride your horses or do your horses ride you?
Ride you.
And Sir Donald was like, forgive him. He's not used to having to look up to turn his nose down. I was like, okay. So the fact that he could say it and Sir Roland didn't even bat an eye. He was just like, that's just how I am or whatever. I was like, okay, he's gonna be an asshole, but not like top tier asshole.
Right.
He might be one of those that I can kind of deal with. I feel like Sir Donald I'm gonna like because he took the time to actually have a conversation with Dunk. He was very respectful in that conversation because if you notice, most people are not respectful when they talk to Dunk.
Nah.
You know, even the way that he said, what did he say? You don't smell house bread or something. I feel like he didn't say it in a way that was disrespectful. He was just making a point like, okay, you're a knight, but you're not one of these kind of knights. So
Manufactured, grew up in luxury kind of night.
right,
Mhm.
right. That's you know what? That's the other thing going back to Egg. Sir Duncan should know this is a clean boy. He should
Yeah.
know he's
Yeah.
not, yeah. But
Oh my God, Adam, after that first episode, he was obsessed with the fact that they don't have tissue. And when he put Egg on his shoulders, Adam was like, they don't have tissue.
but
And
well,
he's right.
but here's the thing: in those days, and even Sir Roland and Sir Donald, you kind of hear that conversation. I know they
Hey,
used hay to wipe their ass back then.
that's so
I don't know how well that works or whatever, but what
And
was it?
if you watch enough medieval shows, you'll always get that one joke where someone used poison ivy when they're out in the
Yeah,
woods
yeah,
instead of just they just pick any leaf and not
yeah.
realize that they had
I
poison ivy.
mean, they
They
wiped.
did.
They just, tissue paper was. I don't know if
It
tissue
wasn't
paper
a
wasn't
thing.
invented
no,
yet.
It
no, it was
So,
wasn't a thing.
not.
so
I don't, which is crazy to me that people didn't think that through.
But
yeah,
yeah,
But
hay,
that
sand, leaves, whatever.
yeah.
that
And I have a feeling like Egg, given who we think he is or who we know he is, I feel like he would probably know
had to be
how to clean
right.
himself. You
That's
know what
what
I'm
he.
saying?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about
Yeah.
too. Like,
But yeah, I mean, that was because you think about that first episode when you see Dunk having an upset stomach, to say it politely. And then you think about what his clothes might smell like. Like even when he was trying to wash his clothes out, he sniffed and he was like,
yeah,
ugh.
he was
I'm
like,
just like, please tell me this man is not walking around smelling like shit, trying to flirt with the puppeteer girl. Just
yeah.
dude, it's just
But I was telling Adam, I was like, but the thing is, like, yes, people could tell you stink, but everybody stank. All they did was mostly just put on perfumes and oils on top of stank because they didn't just have ready water typically.
right.
So
Yeah,
imagine,
and the horses were walking around and they were pooping everywhere.
yeah, also
So
that.
Yeah.
It was just funky back then.
Yeah. But also, unless you were somebody like a Targaryen, like what was the girl being told when Dunk got ready to follow her? They told her, they said, hey, you need to go in there. The princes need their hands washed. I'm on my way. Y'all don't have to wash your own hands. Like, but again, a different mindset, different time period. But, going back to Sir Donald, yeah, the way that he talked to Dunk, it's almost like he was talking to Dunk as an not necessarily an equal, but he treated him like a person,
Right.
which you notice does not happen to Dunk a lot. Like a lot of people dismiss him, just like the little girl, she was like, you're big and you're stupid. I was like,
Like,
and who the hell are you?
oh,
Like, but you
does he
know,
not introduce himself as Sir Duncan at all to Sir Donald? Because that might have had something to do with it too. Like he did claim himself as a knight, so
yeah.
he would treat him with a little more respect and deference than he would anyone else.
But the thing is, other people, even when he introduces himself as a knight, they hear it, but they look at him and they judge him based on what he has on. And I feel like Sir Donald didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
You know,
Yeah.
so that kind of endears me to his character a little bit more, because obviously Dunk has the, I don't even know if I want to say the stature, but he presents himself like he's a knight. You know what I'm saying? He's very respectful. He's very honorable, which in our minds is what knights are supposed to be like, you know? And the fact that Sir Donald kind of still talks to him regular, you know, gives him his little history, because he asks him if he's a darkling from Dusk,
Duskendale.
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 He kind of gives me that Sir Davos kind of
Yeah.
like, I know I'm from the bottom, but I'm here
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna treat you with respect because we done had the crime to get to where we at kind of.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I also like the fact that he was telling him, you know, my family have been crabbers, because well, when he asks Dunk, where are you from? He was like, nowhere really. He was like, oh, I know that place. I'm from there too. And then Dunk is like, wait, are you part of this family? He was like, no, but my family, we've been crabbers for generations. And then later on, when he's talking to Egg, and Egg is like, his father owns half of the crabbing boats in Westeros. Frank is like,
How do
what?
you know that?
Not only that, but what? So his father is big, but he didn't hold that over Dunk, or he didn't kind of use it to say, oh, this is who I am. He just had a more humble, um, you know, perspective about him, and I like that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's especially because I'm just kind of, I'm sick of people treating Dunk the way that the way that they treat him.
Yeah.
But even with the armorer, when he talked to him, the armorer was very straightforward with him. And when Dunk just kind of was like, I can't afford this armor, I'm just gonna put this back. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna lose some money, but okay, so I can take this, I can take your old armor, I can use the metal, I'll give it to you for, a reduced price, blah blah blah. And Dunk was like, I only have 2 stacks. Okay, this will hold you for a day. You just gotta figure the rest out. I was so sad when Dunk was talking to the horse, and he was like, when I win this, I'm gonna get enough money to buy you back. I started tearing up. I was like, I don't know this horse like this.
Adam said, is he gonna get her back? I'm like, I don't know. Just
I
told me to
know.
say
I
that.
don't know. I haven't gotten that far in the story in the book yet, but just the fact that he has that kind of gentle spirit, like he talks to the horses like they're people. Even the Targaryen horse that kicked the stable hand, he talked to it, he
Yeah.
calmed it down, took it in the
Mm-hmm.
thing, and he was just like having a conversation with it. I always feel like with people who, and this comes from being an animal person too, people who talk to animals, I feel like are on a higher plane of existence than other people, because if you can get an animal to trust you, if you can
Yeah.
get an animal to calm down where other people can't, that's something within you.
Mm-hmm.
For someone that can't speak and can't give you their feelings, for them to be able to trust you like that, to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna calm down for him. That just kind of tells you what kind of person that person is. So I'm like, Dunk has a big heart. Again, he's honorable. He's very honest,
Yeah.
which is also a rarity in those days. And I just want him to win at all of this. I know he's about to go through some stuff, but I just want him to win,
Yes.
because I really want him, like at the end of the episode, he talks about how, Ser Arlan was here for almost 60 years, and nobody, he's done all these good deeds, he's done this, he's done that, and nobody
Nobody
remembers
loses.
him. He was like, what kind of hedge knight, you know, doesn't have any victories and is buried in a shallow grave on the side of the road? He was like,
The
what kind
road.
of legacy is that? He said, but he took me in, he treated me like family, even though we weren't. And he taught me how to be an honorable man. And damn it, I'm going to go in these lists and I'm going to show, he was like, I am his legacy. I'm going to show them what he made of me. And I'm just kind of like, yes, yes, that's what I want. And even the fact that Egg sat there and listened to him and was looking at him so serious, because Egg has been just kind of riffing on him the entire episode. I love their camaraderie. I love the way they go back and forth. But he was sitting there listening like, okay, yeah. And if you're the younger brother of an asshole, I reckon Dunk must be a breath of fresh air for him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But their comedy is so funny, because when they were talking after the whole thing with the puppet girl, and Dunk was telling people, he was like, "Do you think I could be a knight? You know, people say I'm small even for my age." And Dunk is sitting there almost like he's about to relate a story to him. He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You know, people call me big and stupid all the time." And he just stopped, and Egg is like, "And what? What?"
And so
he's like, "And what did you do about that?"
Right. He was like, that ain't none of your business. That's my business. The way he was like, you were trying
that little boy know he can act though. When I say,
listen, these kid actors that are coming out these days, they are so phenomenal. It's like their instinct for their characters and the emotions that they can portray, and just like, you are holding your own with a grown-ass man, sir.
You little tiny little baby.
Right.
Oh, that right there killed me. I laughed so hard.
Because even the expressions, he was like,
what are you talking about? Like, are you even listening to what I'm saying?
I love it. I love this. I love this little companionship. I love the fact that Dunk is so irritated by him, but also at the same time, it's like, dude, he's you in a little body. He just has a little more mouth, because even when they're coming in, before they realize the Targaryens are there, and Dunk is complaining because he was like, nobody remembers Ser Arlan. Nobody will vouch for me. He was like, just go in the list anyway and just tell them fuck them. He was like,
right.
Oh.
I thought about that too. Just go in there and act like you're a freaking knight, and just do it.
And just do it. And what did he say? Tell them to fuck themselves. I said, okay, Dunk, this should have been your clue that Egg ain't who he says he is, or that he's more than he says he is, because he said that with such confidence.
Yeah.
And Dunk was like, you're a bit brazen. No, he just
that's the thing. That's the thing that Duncan is missing. He's missing that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if he walked in there like that, it would be a totally different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no one would be questioning him being a knight.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. He's also, Egg is very compassionate, and he pays attention so well, because he was just like, when he first told him to go, and he was like, nah, I'm staying, because you have been basically going through this story and like having to basically rebury your master over and over again, and nobody knows him. It's gotta be like heartbreaking. I don't want to leave you.
Right.
And it's just like, this child has the emotional, like, oh my gosh, like his range is insane. Like,
and the maturity as well.
Yeah.
So that also tells you there's more to this little boy than he is letting on, because I'm sorry, most of the kids that we've seen in this particular world, Game of Thrones world, they don't have that kind of focus and that kind of maturity, either unless they are raised nobly, or they have gone through some major trauma and they've had to learn to get over it. You know what I'm saying? In order to survive. So one of the two with that kid. But yeah, and again, I think this comes to the way that Dunk was probably raised by Ser Arlan. He just
you know who else knows it. You know who else recognizes Duncan's value?
Ser Lionel.
Yes, oh, Ser Lionel. Yeah. Oh my God, that is my homie. I hope he does not change. Because
no, the funniest thing is he leaves the tug of war line. Where
It
are
was
you going?
genius.
I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty. But what did he say?
It was
If
genius
we
though.
lose this game, I'm gonna drown your firstborn. What? What?
But look how it was genius though, because what happened when he left, they didn't have that strength. So they was pulling with all their might and they were winning. So when he came back, they were on that level of whatever pulling. He added to that and it threw them off their now he
Well,
did that on
also
purpose.
too, because I think in that moment when he left, Doc realized, I think that was when it clicked for him. Okay, this man told me if I'm tall, be tall. It's kind of like be who you are. And he was like, wait, I'm the biggest motherfucker on this line. Why are we losing? Hold up. He started digging those heels in and started pulling, and they started winning. Poor Egg. He just had to put his
Or
legs up on on the rope.
hanging on for dear life.
Right. Because he couldn't do anything. And then of course Lionel's like, all right, I see what you're doing. And he slaps Dunk on the butt, kind of like good job. And I was like, maybe this is what he was doing. He was just kind of like, I need you to feel your tallness. Like
Yeah.
I really feel like he could have just been being selfish. Okay, I'm thirsty, but I really feel like he put Dunk in there and he left it like that. Like, look, I need you to realize your potential.
No, I think he
I
just wanted to. I think he just wanted to win.
whatever. I'm gonna think nice things about Lionel. I'm gonna think that
I
he
love
my boy
Lionel.
Dunk out.
There's nothing wrong with that. He looked. He saw. Oh wait, this dude is not doing anything. Come over here, sir. Heed the
Drinking some
call.
piss poor form. He was like, "What is this pissy form? Like, what is this you are drinking?"
Oh
Yeah,
God!
My
If
I
you're gonna
like
heart
Sir
have,
Lionel
if you're
Baratheon.
going,
He's funny.
if Sir Duncan the Tall is gonna have one friend, it's gonna have to be Sir Lionel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's got to be his person.
it's got to
yeah,
be.
gotta
Got
be.
to be.
But I mean, he's had Lionel Baratheon, like I said, Sir Donald of Duskendale, and then who was the guy in the first episode?
Oh,
Oh, Floss away.
Away,
Yes,
the cousin.
yeah. So I feel like okay, he's got a few people who were nicer than normal to him. That
And if you
yeah,
count Tenzel, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you count
yeah.
her.
But you know what? He don't want her friendship. He want her. He like her.
And when he said to when Aegon told him they had a commonality, but at first he was like, "Y'all are both gigantic" or whatever he said.
Because
Yeah, because
she said the boys used to call her
Too tall,
Tamsin Too
Tamsin.
Tall.
Yeah, Tamsin
yeah,
too tall. That's it.
I'm
in the
like,
book she's supposed to be half a head shorter than him. So if
Oh
he's
dang!
6'11", she's supposed to be like
like
six
six.
three, 6'5", something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
he he said that, and he's like, "Is that and that?" So that's the thing. Like because he's an older guy playing a person who's supposed to be a teenager, kind of. He's definitely, he doesn't know things. So when he's asking this child, wait, is that a thing? Like, is this a thing? Is this how we're supposed to be together? And he's like, you have some compatibility, I guess. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
something in common.
compatibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh
Yeah.
man. He ain't
Because the
learned
one thing
nothing from
we
all them whores, I guess.
Yeah.
the one thing we don't get, we get a little bit of it, but we don't get from the book is a lot of his internal monologue.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about seeing her and how she is like the perfect height for
Yeah.
kissing
Oh,
and
And
stuff like that.
he
So,
almost says that too because when she said something about her being too tall, he was like,
you're just right.
I think you're great. He was like, you're the perfect height for it. And he was, I think in his mind, he was saying, you're the perfect height for me, but he wasn't
mhm.
gonna be so bold as to say that. And she was just like, for what? And he's
For
just
what?
and Egg is so funny because he's just looking at him like, wow, this guy is faltering. Puppeteering. Yeah. He's just like, he's the best wingman ever for Dunk because Dunk has absolutely no clue what he's doing. And also, okay, so here's the other thing with Ser Arlan as far as Dunk goes. So usually in Game of Thrones, lore, universe, whatever, by Dunk's age, Ser Arlan should have already taken him to a brothel for his first woman.
Yeah.
I
And I
think
was like,
he did.
no, because even
I
in the
can't.
book,
I can
Dunk
remember.
says that he's never laying with a woman.
Oh yeah, he does. He
Yeah.
does.
So,
He does.
um, so the fact that Dunk doesn't even know how to talk to a woman, it's so it's so strange. But then you have Egg on the side that's kind of like filling in the blanks. And I was like, what does this little boy know about talking to women? That's another clue about this boy is more than what he seems. Because if he was just a regular boy who's just been on the run, he wouldn't have had he's too young to go to a brothel. Two, he's too young to have the coin to go to a brothel. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Dunk, Egg is he's your wingman. He's gonna help you with this because it's obvious you got a thing for this girl and you just don't know what to do about it. Egg's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna help you out. Which
So
made it
sweet.
even more funny when they had that conversation afterwards. And Dunk was like, what business of it is it? What? He's like, I'm sitting here helping you and you can't even answer a question.
Help me for a change.
Right. But the other thing about this episode is the list. They actually start that night. Why? Egg said the same thing. Why did this man bite into this raw fish? What the like?
Was
How
he a
many times?
Tully?
Huh?
He was a Tully.
He was
I,
a Tully, right?
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Are they trying to meet a certain quota for how many times they can gross us out in the episode? I mean, you only gave us 30 minutes and like, what are y'all doing? Even Egg was like, yeah, the thing with the fish
That
was
was disgusting.
disgusting.
He said the lists were great, but I could have done without the fish. That was too much.
Right. Okay, but this is the one thing I didn't catch, and I did go back, Anthony. I freeze framed and I rewound. I was trying to figure this out, but when they're watching the list and Egg is on Dunk's shoulders,
Hmm.
there's a moment after the first joust where the squires are giving um everyone their new lances,
Hmm.
and Egg looks over at one, and I don't think it was anybody recognizable. Like, I didn't see a Targaryen shield. I think it was somebody in green and gold and somebody else. But he was looking at them give the spear, and his face completely changed. He went from joy to kind of worry, and then he started looking at his wrist like this, and then he told Dunk to put him down so he could get to the front. Do you know what that was about? Because I was
I thought
confused.
it was because he realized he was so tiny and how much work they had to put into it. I thought he was looking at how
Ah,
small his hands were compared to, because
Oh,
they were all grown at least,
yeah.
right.
or
What
look
what
grown.
yeah,
Okay.
what his responsibility would be
Yeah.
If
He
he
was
if
like,
he would have
oh, I
become a
don't need to
school.
be on his
Oh,
shoulders. I'm a man. I need to be, you know,
and
yeah,
then
and if you watch the
if
have you
Duncan is going to
watched
be jousting, then he's going to be the one responsible. Okay, okay, got it.
so have you watched the trailer for the next episode?
No, I have not.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's not a spoiler, but there's a scene where where Egg is running with the lance.
Oh, okay,
So he must have realized he could do it. But
okay.
I think that's what, like Dana said, that's what he was worried about.
Okay. Because I was looking at that and I was trying to figure out, I was like, what is he looking at? Because at first I was thinking, like, is he supposed to be in shackles? Like, did he escape from being I mean, literally, that's what I thought. Because I was like, it's so weird that you look at your wrist and you do your hands like this. And I was like, what is this? What is this boy's story? But okay, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Um, And then Dunk having his little panic attack once he sits Egg down and he's thinking about, he's watching the jousting. And I think the thing that you saw is like, I think Dunk in his mind, he has a certain idea of how knights are supposed to behave, again, because of the way that Ser Arlan raised him. And then you see all these people during this joust, like people have clearly been knocked off their horse, but you're still coming after them with your lances. You're still like somebody was about to run over another person with their horse. And he's looking at all of this and thinking about, oh, is this what I'm going to be expected to do? And again, then he starts having the flashbacks about the different things that Ser Arlan did or said, and then him burying him. And that's when he came to the revelation at the end. He was like, Ser Arlan was this. He was a hedge knight for 60 years. Nobody remembers him. And what does he have to show for it? He's buried in a shallow grave. He was like, is this what my destiny is? Is this what I'm going to be? Because if he was such a great knight and this was his fate, what is my fate? And I think, he panicked about it at first, but then that's when he was kind of like, no, I'm his legacy. I got to show them what this man was made of. Not just for him. He wants to do it for Ser Arlan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make sure y'all never forget his name again.
Which is like that amount of like gratefulness that he has for this man. It's like he sees all his faults. He knows that he wasn't perfect, but he saved him, and he's just gonna be like ever grateful for this man teaching him things and saving him. And it's just like that is so pure of heart. Mm-hmm. He's so pure. I love him so much.
Yep, which is another reason why I'm like, Dunk is one of those characters I will fight for.
Right.
Like all y'all people being mean to him, I'm gonna need y'all to get your comeuppance, so I'm gonna need you to change your mind. I'm gonna need you to fix your shit real quick.
Right. Because it don't take nothing to be nice. This man, what was his? Oh God, I keep mixing up all the names. Is it Baelor? That's the prince that's in line.
Mm-hmm.
He's a prince. He is a crown prince, and he was just as gentle and kind and sweet. It costs nothing to be kind.
Mm-hmm. Even when Dunk made the faux pas, when he was talking about, he said, "Yeah, I remember jousting against Ser Arlan. We broke 4 lances before before it ended." He was like 7. He was like, "Well, I know that tales kind of get exaggerated." He said, "But I assure you it was 4." He could have easily, because when Dunk said 7, I literally did this like, "Oh, you just fucked up, but the way that he diffused that situation, because even Maycor was like, hold up. Baelor was like, "No, it was mistaken." He was like, "But it was just 4, I assure you." "Oh, I'm so sorry." He was like, "No harm was done. Rise, get off your knees. You don't have to." Just that whole, again, he does remind me a lot of the way Viserys was. Viserys was the peaceful king, and he did get a lot done with that kind of stoic attitude. And I feel like Baelor, what was it that Dunk said, that Ser Arlan said, that the 7 kingdoms would be in great hands when rule. And even that was kind of a faux pas, because basically you're saying, so when your daddy is dead, you become the king. Again, I don't think Dunk understands these kind of protocols, because even when he talks to Maycor, he was like, "I hope your sons are found and they're not dead." He's only going by what the other girl said, that apparently everybody's like, "Oh, they might be dead by now." He wasn't doing it to be mean. He wasn't doing it to be, stupid. He's honest to a fault.
Yeah.
He basically was like, "I hope your sons are okay and then they're safe." Yeah, he could have said it that way, but I hope they're not dead. I mean, that is the hope, right?
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, Baelor, I like him because he was another person who treated Dunk like a person.
Yeah,
he treated him with respect. And it cost him nothing. He's still the prince.
He's still the crown prince, and everybody still respects him.
So, yeah, I think I like his character, but he is a Targaryen. We'll see. I mean, I
feel like Viserys, other than him not choosing to do what he set in motion and not being, that was his flaw, but he was still a good man. All the way to the end. Yeah. He was just trying to keep the peace. You know what I mean? He wasn't a bad king. So it's like hard to imagine that all the Targaryens aren't trash But then there's some that are just not trash.
Yeah.
Some of them are
I
just
mean,
not.
think about it. Even though I know there's a lot of debate about this, and I've kind of gone back and forth, but even with Daenerys was a good person all the way up until Cersei cut her best friend's head off and was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make you kneel." At this point, I think Daenerys was just kind of like, "Okay, you know what? I'm done with all this. I'm done
Yeah.
with all this." Like Masande
Um,
told me to burn it all down. I don't think
uh,
that was quite
mm,
what she meant, Daenerys, but
um,
up
um,
until
um,
that point,
we can save this discussion for another time because I'm gonna disagree with you there.
what that
Daenerys
she
has always been that way from the very beginning,
no, and I'm not saying that she
and
didn't have that potential, but her initial heart, she wanted to stop. She wanted to break the wheel. She wanted to stop the way the Targaryens had been doing things. She didn't want to be that same kind of cruel ruler. And
I,
I think part of her nature was that
I don't
was
know.
part of her,
I'm
and
gonna
she was fighting
disagree.
against it. Okay,
Disagree,
whatever.
but we can do it another time.
That'll be a different conversation. But
I
We can
also
have
think
a discussion another
book
time.
versus show, her personality was definitely a little different.
yeah,
And the things she went through was a little different, book versus show.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah, in
but
book
I don't know.
she was more like her dad than she was in the show.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's also part, like they tried to create this character that was always always the victim, always clawing her way out of something, always somebody's coming after her, attacking her in the show to make people, and then they gave her dragons of all things to make people like her more.
yeah.
Because when I was reading the books, I wasn't really impressed by Danny that much. It wasn't like it was in the show, I would say.
Yeah,
yeah. But in the show, even early on, they gave you clues that she was willing to do whatever it took to get her way.
yeah,
So burn people alive. That
yeah,
always worked for Targaryens. It worked
yeah.
for her.
I mean, that's how they conquered Westeros,
Yeah.
which they need to go on and make that because I'm excited. Although I don't know about this brother sister love that's about to happen, but I'm excited about the
Oh,
rest of
you
it.
talking
So.
about Aegon's Conquest?
Yeah.
Brother
Yeah,
sisters
yeah,
Yeah,
love.
brother and
sisters, because
sisters
there were
love. Yeah,
two.
yeah.
Yeah, two sister wives. So yeah, but yeah, but going back to Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Um, so yeah, episode 3 that's coming up. I'm pretty sure we should see some action with Dunk. Um, there's some things that's going to happen in between then, so I don't know if we're going to actually see him do the list or do any fighting in the 3rd episode. They may wait until the 4th episode, but I have a feeling some big stuff is about to happen in episode 3. And I mean, we
I,
only have 6 episodes, so it's not like they have room to draw stuff out. Like you say, Anthony, they're moving very fast paced. The story in the book is very kind of fast paced. There's a lot more description in the book, but again, if you're kind of familiar with the Game of Thrones universe, the media universe, the TV universe, then a lot of that stuff that they describe in the book, I don't think they have to go into the big drawn out discussions in the show, because they've been giving us, like, even with the description of how the lists work, even though they're not giving us the one long drawn out explanation, they're giving us bits and pieces here and there, so I think we'll get all of the information that we need to get without it being overdone, and they're focusing on the important stuff, which is I know is about to happen with the Targaryen stuff. So yeah, but did we miss anything? I think we got everything, because again, is the episode was
oh,
only 34
yeah,
minutes.
it wasn't super long. One of the things they did talk about, the prince did tell him, was that because he was not Arlen's natural born son, he would have to have his own sigil
Yeah.
and his own shield and whatever design, whatever. And I think that's interesting that like he technically was that man's son, but they're like, no, you have to be natural born. I'm like,
Natural
and who
born.
would know? He could have just been like, yeah,
Yeah.
I was his son, but he's
That's
so
his
honest.
bastard.
He didn't know to lie, you know. So
Yeah. But
I,
also, I think the thing is too, he makes a point when he's talking about Ser Arlan in the beginning. He tells one of the lords that he's speaking to that Ser Arlan never married, never had children.
oh yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like, I also feel like if he would have lied and said, yes, that was my father, enough people would have remembered Ser Arlan by that point to be like, oh, but he didn't have no children.
Yeah, no kids,
You
right?
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I feel like that would have been one of those type things because people always they're always dismissive of things, or they don't remember things until it's something that may have a direct impact on them, and then all of a sudden, oh, your memory is working fine. Like, what harm would it have been for y'all to be like, okay, yeah, I remember your master, you can go be in the list? Because if all of y'all think the way that y'all treat him, y'all think he big and dumb anyway, y'all walking around half threatening him, so you don't think he's going to be a threat, let him go on the list. Chances are y'all going to knock him off his horse and he's going to be done. What
right.
harm would that do, really?
Yeah,
you know but I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. There's something about the way that they're treating him. It's kind of like, yeah, I remember this dude, but I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of. It's almost like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in your place, and I don't like that. Like,
yeah,
what harm would it be for y'all to let this man fight in the list?
A lot of
yeah.
harm. He could win.
But I
That's
And
know,
that
and
would be a
I get
problem.
that. And that's why I'm saying I feel like that's why they've been going around, like, because you're being very specific with what you're telling these people. House Florent, Sir Arlan served in the guard when your father lost his sight. House Hayford, he fought with your brothers at the Red Grass. He lost his nephew in battle. House Tyrell, not your father, your brother. You specifically were the one who told him that hedge knights are the bridge between lords and the small folk. You told him that. You mean to
yeah.
tell me that you don't remember telling somebody that? Like, that's a very specific piece of information to tell somebody. And even the way
That
he
doesn't
was
mean
looking
they
at
did
Dunk
tell
when he
him.
said it was kind of like, yeah, I remember that, but I'm not going to admit to that shit. Like, y'all are just being assholes just to be assholes. And yeah, it's probably because you feel like, okay, yeah, this guy is big and dumb, but he could probably beat us.
Yep, basically.
But had he said something like, yes, Sir Arlan was my father, no, he wasn't. We know Sir Arlan didn't have any children. Well, how do you know that? But you didn't remember him when I told him what he specifically did for you. That's just kind of how I feel like they're doing. Like, they know him, they just want to be assholes. They just want to be
Right.
difficult.
They don't want to be tied to anything or
But
anyone.
that's okay, because I hope Dunk goes out there and beats all they ass.
Yeah. Sir Duncan the
Look,
Tall.
even the Targaryens go out
Oh,
there.
but I will say that but Valar, oh my god, these names.
Valar,
He he was rocking that Targaryen black with the
yeah.
looking right. I was like, okay, I like
But
that.
you notice it was interesting too. He was brown haired.
Yes, yes. Another one.
I was like, look, I know what side of the tree you came from.
Yep.
Maybe.
Maybe that was some Baratheon mixture. Oh, that's what we should look up and see. It's probably another Baratheon. Because wasn't Emma? Emma was a Baratheon too, wasn't she? Rhaenyra's mom.
Um,
Yes, she was a Baratheon
yeah.
Targaryen mix. Yes.
Yeah. So
And
it
I
might
do
be.
know that somebody on one of those trees, they married another Baratheon. So yeah.
Well, Robert's grandmother was a
Oh,
Targaryen.
yep, yep,
Mm,
So,
yep.
but this is all, yeah. Aegon the First, his half brother was a bastard.
Okay.
Baratheon.
Yeah.
Ormond.
Oh yeah, because that's the other thing we got
Mhm.
to take into account, like the bastards and
Right.
what Anthony was talking about, with the rebellions, the black fires
The
and
Black
the
Pirate. Yeah.
yeah, they had bastards who were legitimized. So yeah. That's just that family tree is just so complicated.
So crazy.
It
So
is.
crazy.
It is.
Yeah, and not all of them marry um
Oh, the
inside the
Targaryens.
family.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because
Thank
this is how
God.
they were able to kind of work their Aegon worked out his treaty with Dorne
Mm.
was the Prince of Dorne married a Targaryen
Yeah.
princess. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
Brown hair might
Well,
pop up considering their ancestors,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
thanks to Rhaenyra.
Yeah. But I don't know. You guys have anything final to say about this episode?
Strong bloodlines.
Mm,
No,
yeah, yeah.
I'm just
I think it was really good for the short little time we had it.
Can we get longer than 34 minutes, please? Like
Yeah.
this
Oh, like I said, I like it. I like it short. I like it like this.
it
Keep it
just
short and to the point.
it I guess it just
There
feels
isn't a lot of world building needing to be done. We're
I
in
know.
one place. All the story is taking place in this one location,
That is true.
and we just have a few characters you got to get to know.
But I think it's because the pacing does work so well. It's like by the time I'm like really, really into the episode, it's done. And it's so sudden and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
what? Give
It,
me more. But I felt
yeah,
the
and
same
you
way.
can't wait until next week's episode, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
That's
was
the
the
point.
same way with the Percy Jackson series. I just finished watching season 2 of that, and like those are also like 30
Yeah.
ish minute
I gotta
episodes. And I
finish.
was just kind of like, wait, we're done? What? So yeah. I mean, I guess I could get used to a 30-minute episode. I want more.
Is this season supposed to be the first novel, just period, or are
I
they
think so.
It's the first novella, The Hedge
Yeah.
Knight.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hedge Knight. So um okay, well. I guess I'm gonna get off here and go look at the trailer for episode 3 and prepare for that. But for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.